First, we're going to go to a Friday night game. It's a conference, yet not a non-conference conference game, however you want to term that, where Arizona is now traveling to Kansas State on Friday night. Arizona with the comeback win, by the way, over Northern Arizona, and now has the longest active winning streak in the FBS since Michigan lost. So,
oh yeah, I had that. I knew that. No, I did not. No, nobody knew that Arizona had the longest win streak. Here's the thing about when you say Kansas State, like they got lucky to win last week too. You watched the Tulane game. Interesting PI. Kansas State hasn't looked like Kansas State so far. It's been kind of interesting to watch them, but you got that North Oconee Titans hat on, big scoop and score by Jack Fabris to really win that game for Kansas State. When I watch Kansas State, first of all, unbelievable team year in and year out. They do it a multitude of ways. One of the best teams in the country, scoring non-offensive touchdowns. The last 10 years, they're number one in the country. So special teams always good. Defense finds ways to score. They're always disciplined. They're always tough. The thing I've seen about Kansas State so far that's been a little bit concerning is offensively, Avery Johnson is the next guy. And you saw him in the bowl game. I think it was the Pop-Tart bowl game, something like that, something crazy. But he's super freaky, super athletic. And in this matchup, it could be a high-scoring game, just like last week with Tulane, because Kansas State's defense struggling. Gideon's running the football. Avery Johnson running the football. Dylan Edwards running the football. The physicality of Kansas State, to me, should win this game against an Arizona team that's banged up. Like Noah Fafita, by the way, if you can't pronounce his name, by the way, way easier than Nico's name to pronounce, but Noah Fafita is unbelievable. And T-Mac, McMillan, this dude, people don't know who he is yet, Brent, but he's going to be a top wide receiver. He's going to be the top wide receiver taken. I mean, 6'4", freaky in and out of breaks, catches the ball away from his body every single time, like moves like a small guy, but he's a huge guy. Like, listen, a top pick. But what you watched last week was Northern Arizona. What happened to them? They bracketed him. They double teamed. They took this whole offense out of sync. And Arizona looked very human a week ago as opposed to what they looked like in the first game when T-Mac had 10 for 300 yards in one game. That was one game, Brent. That one game.
Which is amazing when you think about Northern Arizona. So you look at Tetairoa, I think is how you say his first name, but McMillan, all of last season and then this season, the team he's had the least receptions against, Northern Arizona, twice. Last year, only 3 catches against Northern Arizona. So, can they get him rolling in this game? And then also Avery, you mentioned Avery Johnson. 82% of his rushing yards, like he had over 300 rushing yards last year, 82% were design runs. This year, that's been like once, twice, I think 2 carries maybe that are true design runs, very small percentage of that. I think you see more of that this week.
And Arizona is giving up 7 yards a rush to quarterbacks, which is not good. But here's another thing, too. When I watch, and this is the last thing on EMA, Every Man a Wildcat, Kansas State, which is a fantastic program. Connor Riley, former offensive line coach, first-time play caller. Avery Johnson, not the biggest guy in the world. One of the highest recruits, by the way, to come to Kansas State. I mean, this dude was highly recruited, highly touted, really good athlete. You don't run those guys the whole time. You can't run them the whole season to survive. He's not built like that. So I think you have to limit the touches of him getting the football. So you probably see some of that early. But when you get into Big 12 play, which we are not, by the way, because they played this game when they were not Big 12 opponents, so it doesn't count against their Big 12 record. So there's 4 teams in the Big 12 that are ranked in the top 25. These are 2 of them. But this is a non-conference game. It means absolutely nothing when you start to see the conference standings in the end, which is kind of weird and kind of strange. But this game obviously matters for psychologically and for down the road.